Okay, welcome everybody. This is Shaman, Auntie from ISW, and I know some of you. I'm so glad you all have joined, and thank you for joining. Before I introduce the presenters, just a few housekeeping rules. If you have any questions, do put them in the chat room. And if you're, we'd love to hear from you if you have any feedback at the end of the presentation. And I hope you don't mind, but we're recording this session, okay? And we will post it to the ISW YouTube channel, so you can see it later. All right, we would like everybody to be on video so the presenters can see you. So Kanitkar and Akhil, can you turn your video on? Yeah, thank you. And you can also put yourself on mute. Great. All right, so Dhruv and Aashi, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Dhruv.
And I'm Aashi.
And I will be sharing our presentation right now. Okay, so we are teaching a topic on key skills or QI skills. You can call it anyway. And we did this kind of key in the Q, so that was cool. So key skills by Dhruv Jagan and
Aashi Gupta.
Okay, so here are a few things about us. So my name is Dhruv Jagan. I'm an 8th grader that's learning in remote learning at Oak Middle School in Shrewsbury, and I will be going to high school next year. And I'm 13 years old, and I like to eat food. Yeah, I like to eat. I like to eat everything pretty much. Ice cream, pretty much anything. I like playing basketball. I have a kind of basketball court in my neighborhood, so I play with my friends there, and I play the tabla and I go to singing class. And so I started this because I felt that having good communication skills and organizational skills, skills like organizing your work, and it's an important aspect in developing your personality, like to make you a good person. And it also brings like clarity into what you're saying. So like what you're thinking, sometimes when you don't have clarity, you don't say what you're thinking, so people get confused. But with good communication skills, you can say what you think so nobody gets confused.
Hi, so I'm Aashi. I'm currently an 8th grader that attends Oak Middle School and is 13 years old. I will also be going to high school next year at Shrewsbury High. Some of my hobbies are spending time with my friends, playing soccer, and watching TV. I love Netflix. Some clubs I'm a part of at Oak are the speech team, which is actually another reason why I wanted to be a part of this class, the science fair club, and math counts. And the main reason I chose to be a part of this class because I realized how important public speaking and having good organizational skills really is, and how hard it is to master on your own. These things aren't taught in school, and most kids have to master them on their own, which can be hard to do. I didn't really know how to approach an audience before I joined the speech team, and I had to learn to stay on top of my work all by myself. I thought, why shouldn't there be a class that teaches all of these fundamental skills? And here I am.
So here are a few general things about key skills. So QI can also be pronounced as key, and it's an important toolkit to future successes. So it helps you in the future to write your college application, to go to your job interview, and it involves some emotions in the brain, and it's pretty complicated. So don't worry if it's kind of hard for you on the first day, because it took me a while to learn. So it includes like aspects such as confidence and courage. So you need confidence to speak up to your classmates or speak to your teacher. And you also need courage to do those. So courage and confidence are a good match. And these are a few things that fall under key skills. So self-understanding, meaning like understanding yourself and asking yourself questions, which is a good thing to always do. Like asking yourself, did I finish this? Did I do this? Am I doing good in this class? Am I doing good in this class? Because if you ask those questions, you can find out those answers. And if they're not the answers you want, you can improve on them. And also timing of decision making. So when I first started remote learning, I wasn't very good at submitting my assignments. Like I always had them a few hours late because I always used to play outside with my friends and play video games because I thought it was kind of like a vacation. But you should always finish your work before playing outside or playing video games because I always had to put my work all the way to the late night. So I almost slept every day around 12. So that was not good. So always timing of decision making is good. So if you have an assignment that's due on next week, say, and you say you procrastinate or like push it forward, like say that, oh, I have time for this, I'll do it tomorrow. Then you go tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, until the last day. And then when you look at the assignment, you realize it's a lot. And then you have to do a lot in one day, which would lead to a late assignment. So that's not what you want. But if you timed it perfectly and did parts of it each day, you would have finished like maybe in 3 days and had so much time to spare before playing video games. Critical thinking is also pretty important because you have to think critically about the content of your work. Like you can't just do your work like normally because there might be some tricks the teachers put in your work, or maybe even your parents make you do IXL or Russian math. Yeah, you also have to critically think about those things because the assignments for every assignment has a due date, and you should always submit the assignment before the due date, because if you don't submit the assignment before the due date, the teachers see that you don't really have good responsibility. And I'm sure you guys have heard of a HOWL, Habits of Work and Learning Standards. Responsibility is one of them. So it's a key aspect of critical thinking. So grit, does anyone know what grit means? Raise your hand or just unmute. Okay, so it just means perseverance. So perseverance is also another howl, and it's like persevering in your work. Like if you have a lot of work to do on maybe this science assignment, you can't just give up halfway, because if you give up halfway, you don't have the you did not finish the assignment, so it's unfinished, which could lead to late assignment. So it's all kind of connected. So that's why having perseverance and persevering to finish your assignment is a really good thing. And also leadership. So leadership is maybe in group work. I'm sure you guys all have worked in groups in your school and even in remote learning when your teacher puts you in breakout rooms. And always if nobody else is talking or if nobody else is reading, always take leadership and just maybe read for yourself. Read the article or read the book that you guys are reading, because maybe if you don't read it, then somebody else will read it. But then they said that, oh, I already read it. So even if you've already read what you want to read, you can still read again. That's a good example of taking leadership. So creativity. So I'm sure some of you guys here like art. I personally don't like art. Art is kind of boring to me and I kind of suck at it. So uh, I didn't really like creativity. I mean, I had a few creative friends. They're really good at drawing. They're really good at thinking of ideas for a class that I'm in called Design Lab. And it took me a while to kind of understand creativity, but they helped me understand. So creativity can really help with your assignments in school and out of school. And collaboration is, again, another thing of working with groups or working with peers. You collaborate together to finish an assignment. So if you have a big assignment, you can't be the only one doing it, because that would be way too much work on you. And the teachers never want to put too much work on you, even though sometimes they do. But um, like if you collaborate with your team or your group, you can each do specific parts of the assignment to finish quickly. Like every time we had like a big homework, me and my friends always used to sit together and collaborate and then see like, oh, I'll do this page, I'll do this page, I'll do this page, and I'll do this page. So we all did our each page and all the pages were quick. So we finished all our pages fast. So that's a good thing.
So a few more things about key skills. Key is also pronounced chi, which means positive mindset. And key skills complements IQ skills, which I'm sure you've heard of. There are reading, writing, arithmetics, math, etc. It complements IQ skills because you can't live just on IQ skills. Key skills supports IQ skills. For example, if you know how to write a speech amazingly, but you don't know how to present this great speech to an audience, then what's the point? Key skills are another facet to life. They are really necessary for daily functioning. These skills can be developed, and you don't have to be born with them. They take a while to be developed and can't be developed in a day. For example, if you want to learn to play the guitar, you don't pick the guitar up and now are an expert at guitar playing. Your brain needs to go through training and needs to piece all the information together for you to finally play a piece on guitar. For example, I started learning how to play the flute during quarantine. Now, on my first day, I wasn't that hot, right? I was pretty bad at it, but as I kept practicing, my brain kept going through the training process, and I kept getting better and better and better at it. Also, child education research shows that these skills can be developed earlier in life, and they will be used throughout your entire life.
So there are two main categories that key skills can be put into. So these skills are me skills and we skills. So me skills are like self-management skills or kind of skills that you use to take care of yourself. So when you're worrying about yourself, like you have a test specifically for you, you could use me skills to help you maybe ask questions like we said before. If you ask yourself when you're doing your work, do you often get distracted? Do you often want to play games when doing your work? These things are not a good thing to have, and it wouldn't be respectful to the teachers who put a lot of effort into making your work. And if you have unfinished work, that's not good. So it's all kind of connected. It's all connected to unfinished work and submitting assignments late. So that's why me skills are good to ask yourself questions and reflect upon yourself. And so we skills are playing well with others. So they include group work and teamwork, just like we said before, working well with your groups. Do you listen to your peers' ideas? Do you implement their ideas inside the project? Do you make sure everyone gets a say or influence on the project? These all things are good examples of key skills or we skills actually. And it can even be in sports. So when you're playing football, you can't just be all over the place because nobody will ever catch a football. But if you have good plays, if you have good runners, if you have good wide receivers, you guys can make good plays and score touchdowns. Or even in soccer.
Now we'll be presenting me skills, the key to speaking.
So our learning goals for today will be, what does good speaking skills really look like? Some examples, and we'll be using writing a speech as an example. So I'm sure you guys have written some speech for student council or maybe the speech team. I did speech team in 6th grade and Aashi is currently doing speech team. So how do you present yourself when you're saying your speech? So body language, posture, and more maybe hand gestures also. And there are also a few things you can do to make your presentation better, like maybe memorizing your speech or writing down flashcards with concise points. So what does good speaking skills look like?
So good speaking skills include expression, tone of voice, eye contact, engaging the audience, and even gestures when appropriate. These skills all come together for a really great presentation if you use all of them. For example, if you're saying something important to your friend and they aren't holding eye contact and making appropriate body language, you may start to think they aren't paying attention to you. For example, if I'm doing this while you're saying something important to me, see what I did wrong there? I didn't hold eye contact. I drooped my shoulders and I had a bored expression on my face. All of these things means that I'm not paying attention to you and I'm not interested. But if you do something like this, yeah, and ask follow-up questions, the person listening to you will feel more engaged.
So some people say that the eye is the reflection of the mind. So that sounds really creepy, but it's actually pretty smart. So when you're tired, you're not having your eyes wide open and you're not full of energy. When you're tired, you have your eyes drooped. And that's why when you have your eyes drooped, people can say, "Oh, you're tired. Yo, are you tired?" So they realize that you're tired. So that's why they say the eye is the reflection of the mind. Creepy. So here are a few things you can do when writing your speech. So as an example, of course. So make sure you know your audience. So when you're in the speech team, you don't really know your audience as well because they randomize it, but that's not what we mean. When knowing your audience means knowing their age or knowing their grade. Because if you don't know their age or grade, you can be saying super simple things for seventh graders, or you could be saying super complicated and hard things for sixth and fifth graders. So that would be a very bad thing to happen. So, and also think about who this message is for and write your speech according to that. So it's, of course, for the audience, and just try, maybe even go natural and try to, let's say, maybe say jokes. Jokes can help. They kind of pull in your audience or engage the audience. And it's like we said, the speech isn't about you, it's about the audience and everyone around them. So if you have a nice, engaging, and fun speech, you can really get the idea you're trying to say into the listeners' minds, which can help share your idea.
The second thing you should do is create the basis for your speech. Write down the topic, general purpose, specific purpose, central idea, and main points. This is kind of like a first draft to your speech. It makes writing your speech not feel very overwhelming or hard. It's better to take tinier steps than a really big one, because with bigger steps, you can lose your footing or even stumble. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that doing everything at once can be overwhelming. And by doing this, it's easier to get confused halfway through or get stressed. I remember in fourth grade, they teach us to write a pillar for the piece you're writing, to organize your thoughts and collect information. I remember I used to hate writing these then. I was like, I don't need this. I'll just go for it. But over the years, I realized that this made me more disorganized and lost in the middle of my speech. I would be writing, I would be fine, and then all of a sudden, my brain would be blank. I didn't know what to write next. You should also make sure to grab the audience's attention in the first 30 seconds. Be engaging. Grabbing your audience's attention will help the person listening get drawn in instantaneously and will help your performance by a lot.
So I'm sure you guys have thought in ELA, when the teacher's teaching things that you feel pretty useless, you're like, how am I going to use this in the future? I'm sure you've seen memes of like this person asking, you didn't do your taxes, and then the kid saying, I don't know how to do them, and then they ask the teachers and they just give like quadratic formulas. You might think some things the teachers teach are useless, but it actually, for ELA, it's especially useful for college applications if you want to get into a good college and get a good job. Plus, for job interviews, you have to write your resume. So these things are also very important. So when saying a speech, when somebody starts with, today I'm going to talk to you about blank, you already know it's going to be pretty boring. So instead of this, use a interesting, funny, or personal story to start off, or even maybe like a strong quote by someone important. So this is called an anecdote. Anecdotes are used by many professional speakers and by TED Ed talkers. And so this makes your speech very much better because it engages your audience, like we said before, which is a very good thing, as your idea passes on to them, then the idea in their mind passes on to other people and your idea gets shared, which is exactly what you want in speech. Plus, ending your speech with a summary about the whole thing that you talked about or a strong statement, it's very good to leave an impact on your listeners or readers' minds, and it makes your idea stay in their mind, so they're always thinking about it and thinking different ideas, which will make them ask follow-up questions. So we'll pause right here and see this. If anyone has questions, just raise your hand. If not, I'll go ahead. All right.
So what can you do to get ready before your big day? Basically the day you're going to be talking. Well, number one is to practice, practice, and practice. You should remember that feeling nervous or a bit scared before the big day is normal, but it doesn't mean you're going to perform poorly or embarrass yourself. Additionally, getting someone to critique you on your performance can help you because they'll notice things that maybe you don't notice about your speech. I feel really, really overwhelmed on the days before my speech tournaments. I try to get in as much practice as I can. But although it is nice to practice a lot, you shouldn't overdo it. Sometimes, after you have practiced a lot, it is best to give yourself a break and get some sleep in before the big day. Get some rest. And don't stress. Allow yourself to get a break. You should also memorize your speech because this is going to help you on your big day. And if that seems too overwhelming, you should try keeping flashcards with concise points on them. And again, you should try to engage your audience with interesting and entertaining stories. Memorizing your speech can help you get more engaged in your audience, and your audience will connect with you better and your speech.
So here are a few things you can do when saying your speech. So you should always be yourself and never like try to be kind of like a robot, monotone, which means like saying things in the same tone like this and kind of just being very boring, and just try to be yourself, try to be fun, try to walk around maybe in the room when trying to say your idea, jump up and down, make jokes, and your audience will be much more interested in your topic than when you're just sitting down and reading something off a paper and not even looking up at them. And so also be flexible. If your audience is getting boring, put more jokes. If your audience is laughing, still also you can maybe put even more jokes to make them laugh, and that will make them remember your speech better. And it also helps to use your hand gestures. Like when you're trying to lift something, you can do like this. When you're trying to explain something, you can do like this. And these hand gestures also really help the reader or listener understand more about your speech. And try not to make nervous gestures or like pulling your coats or maybe biting your nails. Like every time I said my speech at the first time, I didn't memorize my speech, so I had it off my binder and a piece of paper, and I was always like kind of playing around with my shirt, and I was pulling my shirt and everything, and that kind of made the audience see that I'm nervous, and that didn't really help. So that's why it's much better not to make those things. If you are nervous, a few things you can do is maybe take a breath, go for a nice walk outside, and even talk to an adult to help them help you calm down so that you're confident and courageous to say your speech. So just guys saying a speech in front of everyone. So now we have a small Kahoot for you guys to play. It's a pretty fun Kahoot. And so key skills, it's invented by this woman named Laura A. Jana. So remember that. I think there's a question of that in the Kahoot.
Also, while Dhruv is pulling up the Kahoot, I'll be dropping some resources into the chat. You don't need to open them up, but if you want more information, you can always look at them.
All right, so we're going to be playing classic. There's 12 questions.
Dhruv, are you putting the pin in the chat? Don't put the space. Right.
So that's the pin. I put it in the chat. I'm sure you guys know how to join Kahoot. So yeah, it's just 12 questions, pretty short. So I think we still have a few more people joining. And just let me know when everybody is there.
I think one more person needs to join.
Okay. If not, we'll just start.
Yeah, well, we can start in like 2 minutes or so.
Okay. Oh wait, someone got kicked out. All right, so if that's all, we can start it. So there's a few questions about the our presentation. If you guys have questions after question in the Kahoot, always just raise your hand or just unmute yourself.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is this Kahoot like about the manners?
No, it's just about everything we talked about before. So
Okay.
yeah.
And there are some fun questions at the end.
Yep. Good job, guys. Ooh, Akil's in the lead by 2 points ahead of
Vismay follows behind.
Yeah. It's a true or false question. No, it's false. So because me skills include self, just everything about yourself. Since it's me, we skills are the skills that include teamwork and group work. So Vismay got that right. Nice.
Nice.
So key skills complement, it's like what is the opposite of key skills? Yep, it's not work skills. Work skills is just doing your work, but it's the opposite of IQ since QI is IQ backwards. So yeah, just remember if you guys have any questions like Sharav asked one, you just unmute. Ooh, Vismay has the highest streak. You guys better end it. So can they be easily developed or do they take time? Yep, that's false. Alrighty, Vismay in the lead. This is a fun question. Yep, it is. So Vismay still in the lead, but Akil is catching up. So who invented Keys-Codes? I said this right after the presentation. Yeah, Neil Tyson did not invent this though. He's a cool guy though. Irene. So here the fun questions start. So this is at the About Us page. So yeah, she likes watching TV, spending time with her friends, and playing soccer. What are some things I like to do? If you guys get this wrong, bro, I swear to God. Nobody said eating curry, bruh. Of course it's eating curry all the way. Okay, so are we neighbors or not? Yeah, Visma got this because he also lives in our neighborhood. So yeah, we're neighbors. So who do you like better? All right, it better be red.
It better be blue.
Nah, it's gonna be red.
What about green?
Neither. Of course, Neil put neither. All right, so this is just a random question. All of these are correct answers, so you guys can choose. Since Gimkit, I don't know if you can do because it uses money, but yeah. All right, I guess you like Kahoot. So
Yeah.
who put other? Who put other?
I did.
So which game platform do you like?
Kahoot is good, but like there's another one called Quizlet.
Oh, Quizlet. Oh yeah, Quizlet is like, it's like live. I think Quizlet live, but I think you have to be in person for that because there's only teams. I don't think you can do free for all. So
I don't think you can do that.
yeah, so you might have to be in person. I don't know if you'll be in person, but yeah. So let's see the leaderboard. Oh, good job, Pranjali. Good job, Akhil. Good job, everybody. Y'all did good. Sharav and Areen in runners up. That's good. All right. So
Good game.
I hope you enjoyed this class. We try to make it fun and maybe with more Kahoots and more videos to watch. So it's entertaining for you guys. So if you want, leave in the chat some feedback. We'd always accept feedback. And yeah.
So before we end, yeah, Aashi, you have something to say?
Oh no.
Yeah. How about a thank you?
Yeah, thank you for coming to this class, everybody.
Okay.
Appreciate
So
it.
before we end, I just want to hear from everyone. So we'll go around in alphabetic order. So
Yeah.
Akhil,
Yeah, just
there?
she sent in the chat, like, just introduce yourself and share one story about a speech you had to do. If you did not say any speech, just maybe say just a random story that happened to you, funny story, or maybe.
So we're going alphabetically. So Akhil, do
Yeah.
you want to?
I don't really have any funny story
Okay.
or speech story.
So can you share where you go to school and what you learned today?
So I learned that about QI and that you shouldn't do nervous gestures when you're gonna do a speech
Okay.
in like a pond.
That's good to hear that. So are you in Shrewsbury or in another school system?
Westboro.
In Westboro.
Us,
Okay.
bro. Cool.
So now they're going to offer another series, right? On
Yeah, next week. And
not
it's
next week, next
next time.
time. So we'll let you know. All right, who's next? Arun? Arun Shinde?
Should I
Yeah.
say one thing I learned?
Yeah, you need to show yourself. Yeah.
Can you see me?
Hi, how are you? Yeah. So
Hi.
go ahead.
So I learned that IQ skills are really important for like job applications and are just really important in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And which school system are you in? Which grade?
I'm in Sherwood, 6th grade.
Sixth grade. Good.
Cool.
Good to see you. I think I know your brother, Sumir. Do you have a brother called Sumir?
Yeah, my brother.
I know he taught some programming class
Got
for
a
us.
Python class, yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. All right. So we have Neil.
So what question?
Yeah.
Just
So just talk about which grade you are, which school, what you learned today, or some embarrassing story about your speech.
I got a Sherwood. I'm in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And I learned that QI skills are good for like, I don't know what to say, because I joined a bit late. So
Yeah.
they're good for like, life, for like talking and speaking, making speeches,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. Pranjali. Pranjali.
When I once wrote this speech about I had to pretend like I'm famous and like what I would say if I like won an award.
Yeah. And which school system are you?
I'm in Floral.
Floral. Okay. Thank you. And then we have Sharav.
Like I didn't do like any speech.
Yeah.
And I go to Mill Pond.
Okay. In Westboro.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you learn today? What's the one thing you would tell somebody after today that you learned about communication?
Like maybe maybe I could improve myself instead of like improving like others.
How would you improve yourself, your speech?
Like maybe I just say like I'll try to be a good kid and like
Yeah.
live a simple life.
Yeah. Remember, one of the hints they gave was about using something called an anecdote. So did you hear that piece where they said that if you tell a funny story or something, it makes your audience pay attention to you, right? Because all of us like stories, right?
if you're saying a speech about like swimming and how it's important, and then you could start off with maybe saying you sucked at swimming, like I was horrible at swimming. I was so bad. I mean, I actually, the YMCA is pretty near, but I don't go. I usually just stay in my neighborhood. But yeah, I was good at swimming after like a year or so, but when I started, I was so bad.
Yeah, so that's a story about yourself. So now we'll remember Dhruv about how he learned swimming, right?
Yeah, so that's how you can help your
The way you connect with the audience.
yeah,
right?
connect. That's
Okay.
a good word.
All right, and I think last is Shanavi.
I'm in 6th grade. I go to Sherwood, and I think it was in 4th grade. Yeah, in 4th grade, we had to write a speech about a point if we were in the point of view of a seal.
Yeah.
And about a seal that got, I think, caught in a net or something.
Wow.
Appeal.
That's not an easy topic.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to think like a seal. Okay.
All right, so I think that's everyone.
I think now Vismay is left.
Oh.
Yeah, my name is Vismay. I'm in 6th grade. I go to Sherwood. I have a lot of stories from over the years. I used to really not like talking in public, and my parents pushed me into it. And at first I was really bad, and I started to gain a little more confidence throughout the years. There's a lot of times where I would go to do a speech and I would mess up, and I kind of learned from that. So I understand it takes a while to master things.
So you're saying practice helps?
Practice helps. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes in our neighborhood, some parents, they set up like a small speech saying program, not program really, but like kind of like a small party where they bring all the families and then in someone's backyard they say a small speech. So me and
So
him,
somebody has to give a little speech. Yeah.
yeah, everybody in our neighborhood, all the kids did that. So it was
That helped.
yeah, I wasn't in it at first, but then I just chose to do it and I did pretty good. So yeah.
It's good. Yeah. Now you've got the courage to do a whole class on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So any other questions? Anybody before we close down? Yeah. All right. So thank you everybody for joining, and we'll be doing another session. What's the other session on?
It'll be time management and organizational skills.
Yeah. Oh, I need that. So good. So thank you everybody. Thank you for taking time off on your Saturday afternoon. I just want to take a photograph. So can you all just
Turn your videos on.
turn your videos on? Yeah. Neil?
And you'll turn on your video.
Alrighty. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye everyone. Thank you for coming.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
When's the
Ashi
next
and
class?
Dhruv, just log in again. Okay. Yeah. All right.
When's the next class?
We
Well,
haven't quite announced it, but in a month. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Thanks for asking.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.